Right, let's have a little chat about air filters and air filter oil. Alright, now you got your air filter, all different types of air filters for your cars. They come with pre-dirted and clean ones, and yeah, you got your foams, different types, ones that are falling apart. All different types of air filters you can get for your Nitro cars, right? That's a Kyosho one, goes on an MP9. All different types. But it's all very well having an air filter, having a good air filter, but you need to put a bit of oil on it. And it seems to be, a lot of people seem to worry about the oil. What oil should I use? Oil. You know, so let's have a little chat about oils. I'll show you briefly, and then we'll have a bit of a zoom in, and I'll show you all the different types. But look, you got this one here, it's a generic one. That's probably from somewhere in China. This one's also probably from somewhere in China, but it says on it Fast Tracks, because this is a Fast Tracks air filter oil. You can get different grades and different types. This one is a Opti Global air filter oil. This one is a red one, and this one is another Fast Tracks. Oh, that's silicone oil. Well, you could put silicone oil on it if you want. It wouldn't really matter if you put silicone oil on it, because it's still oil. But I better not tell you that, because there'll be some people that get the ump. I don't know why there's silicone oil in this load of air filter oils, but there is. This one here, Team Associated Foam Pre-Filter Treatment, 1 fluid ounce, $2.50 it costs when it was new. $2.50. Yeah, don't know why it's not focusing on it today. There we go. Yeah, that's they say it's a pre-filter, but that's Team Associated. This bottle's about 20 odd years old. I know. I keep stuff a long time. I don't tend to use much. Air filter oil, Ansman Racing. Another load of air filter oil. Look. Now, those are oils that come in a bottle, and you squeeze it over the filter, and you sort of rub it in and rub it round. You can use the spray oil. A lot of, I've had different conflicting of interests with that over the years, because I like to use the squirty oil that comes in a bottle like this stuff, squirt it over the foam, you know, rub it all in with your fingers, get it everywhere, make a massive mess, and carry on with life. Some people say use the spray stuff. Now I've been digging around on the shelves up there, and I found this, look, covered in dust. Look. You see how much I use it. Right, we got, this is K&N air filter oil, right, not primarily designed for RC Nitro cars, right? But it doesn't matter. This was designed for actual full-size cars. I got this one. I used to have a Mark 1 Focus RS, and I had a K&N filter on it for a while, and this used to come with it. Every time you bought a new element, it come with a tin of oil to spray on the foam, to spray on the element. But you can use this on your thingy ones. You know, all it is oil in an aerosol can. Just spray it on. You ain't got to get it on your fingers. You ain't got to rub it all in. You just spray it on the outside and be done with it. This one is Piper Cross. Oh, this is a cleaner additive. Oh, probably the same stuff. Yeah, it says on it air cleaner additive, but I've always just sprayed it on. I think I have about 6 tins of this. This is a brand new one. The only one I've got left over is at the back of the shelf. I didn't realise it was in there. Full flow capacity competition foam filters. The PX range of Piper Cross high performance air filters offer the ultimate in engine filtration, designed for people who want the very best from their engine. Oh yes, Piper Cross, they don't mess around. Nah, same stuff. It's oil in a tin. Spray it on like you would a bit of hairspray on your head, and yeah, that's it. Of course you can use it. You can use any oil you want on your filter, but you have got to remember, right, and this escapes a lot of people. Now, I used to do a bit of motocross, right, and we used to get different grade of oil, air filter oil, depending on the time of the year or the track we were on or wherever we were riding. You'd have heavy oil. Don't know if they still do it. Probably, knowing the way that we go these days, it's probably been faded out, and it's probably you just probably buy one oil now. It's been a while since I've been in the motocross or the motorbike scene, but you used to get thin oil, light oil, for if it was like a winter, wet or no dust. You just have a thin oil, light coating of oil over your filter. That was it. If you was in the summer and there's heavy dust, a lot of dust everywhere, you'd have a heavy oil, and that was very thick oil, that was. It'd literally stick your hands together with it. You know, you'd be handling your filter and it'd be all these lines, and you couldn't get it off. It'd be everywhere, and then you'd go and try and wash your hands, and yeah, that was bloody good stuff for stopping dust, but it'd make a massive mess. My airbox used to be just covered in oil everywhere, because I'd do my filter, and I'm trying to put the filter back in, and it'd be everywhere, all over the seat. Oh, I made a real mess of it. Always did. I'm not a very neat and tidy person when it comes to that kind of stuff. But it's the same for your nitro cars, right? So in the winter, so I don't even bother oiling the filter in the winter, because there's no dust. Spiders coming down. There's no dust really in the winter, because everything's wet. Sometimes I oil it, but it doesn't worry me too much. The filters are normally good enough if you've got the proper filter. However, you can get light oils, probably. I haven't got any here. It seems to be these days within the nitro scene, you only ever come across one oil. It doesn't say heavy oil. It doesn't say for winter or summer use or heavy dust or anything like that. It's just air filter oil, and they're all the same. But you do need to put that. You use a bit of common sense, yeah. If you're in the winter, if you're in the summer, I mean, and there's a lot of dust, it's very important that you do oil with a filter. And what the oil does, as the foam, right, this one's a bit dirty and dusty because it's been stuck up in that thing, but you've got the foam, right. Let's see if we can get this off this one. This is a particularly rubbish filter, but it's a good example. The foam is made of little, well, it's got holes in it, hasn't it, right? So air can pass through it, right? That's how the filter breathes. It lets air go through into the engine, but the foam is supposed to stop the dirt and the dust. The dirt and the dust is supposed to get stuck on the outside, right? And the clean air carries on going through, goes through that. This is a particularly bad filter. Don't buy the ones off Amazon, they're crap. And then it goes into this secondary filter, which then captures any more dirt that might have got through this one, and then it goes into the engine. But fine dust, really fine dust, little particles, and this particular foam, you can get thinner foams as well. We'll go into that in a moment. And the fine dust will go through these holes because it's small enough to go through the holes, to go through that one. It's also small enough to go through the holes in this foam as well, which then means it will make its way into your engine, which isn't good. So if you put a coating of oil on the outside of this filter, I do the inside as well. A lot of people don't, they just do the outside, but I do the whole filter. And also this one. Oil it up, properly oil it up. The oil, because it's sticky, it will catch that fine dust, okay? And that's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of air filter oil. It does add a little layer of waterproofness as well. So if you've got a bit of water splashing, perhaps it's raining, because oil repels water. All oil, apart from soluble oil, I know some of you are going to go, soluble oil doesn't repel water. I know that. But any oil that you're going to be thinking about putting on your filter is going to repel water, okay? It's just not going to let it go through. So it does add a small protection for waterproofness as well. Now, did I explain that well enough? You're probably all bored. Is anybody still watching? Anybody there? A couple of you are at the back. Alright. Well, anyway, I think you understand now. A light, thin oil for light dust. Yeah? It might be in the summer, but you might be in a place where there's very little dust. A nice thin oil will be sufficient. If there's going to be loads of dust, or just put thick oil on anyway. Yeah, I know I said that you can't, I haven't come across thin and thick oils for nitro cars anymore. They seem to have stopped doing it, but I wouldn't get it anyway. I'll just get the thick stuff all year round. That's me, but I'm trying to tell you how it works. Foams, right? So this one is a particularly coarse foam, which is why it's rubbish for nitro cars. And as I say, you know, Amazon stuff's no good, is it? It's coarse, meaning the holes are big. They're bigger, right? Well, a proper filter. I haven't got any clean examples. Oh, what's this one? Oh, this is a good example. Aha! This is quite a nice example. It's dirty, It's a dirty filter, but it's a good example. Now, look at the difference. Look at the difference, right, between these two foams. I'm sure you can see the difference. This one's a lot coarser. The holes are a lot bigger. Yeah, you can see that. This one is a lot finer. You can't even see, well, you can if you look really close, but the holes are a lot smaller and a lot closer together in the foam. And also in that secondary filter, in that secondary foam, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, nice and thin. Whereas this one, they're a lot bigger. Oh, I'm pulling it apart, look. They're a lot bigger. So again, you can go one step further and you can get a foam. If it's the winter time, not a lot of dust, you can have a coarse foam that will let more air through. Your engine will perform better because it can breathe better. Of course, as I say, the downside of that is it will let more dust and dirt through if there is any. But if you're in the winter time and you're in a place where there's no dust because it's wet, or when you're on the road or something, it doesn't matter. A finer foam will be more difficult for your engine to breathe. It'll use a bit more fuel, and you'll have to adjust the tuning on the carburetor depending on what foam you use. And when you oil up a fine foam filter, when you oil one up, they get even more difficult to breathe, for the engine to breathe, because there's more resistance there with the oil as well. But it will save your engine. It'll keep it healthy, and it'll keep it. Imagine if you was out in the dust and you're breathing in all dust all day long. Your lungs aren't going to be very happy, are they? It's going to damage them. Same with your engine. So you can get different foams depending on the time of year or where it is that you're actually driving your car. Different foams combined with different grades of oil, and that's all you need to think about. I think I've explained that as well as I could possibly explain it, and I think I've explained it possibly too in depth, and it's gone on for a long time. Blimey, I never thought I could talk this long about air filters and oil. But to recap, fine foam, thick oil for summertime, for dusty conditions. Reduced performance slightly, but nothing drastic. For low dust situations or the winter time, you can use a coarser foam and a lighter, thinner oil. You'll get more performance because the engine can breathe better, it can suck more air in, but it'll be less efficient with filtering out the dirt and dust. But as I say, in the winter you shouldn't have much because it'll be wet and cold. Unless you're in somewhere like Australia where your winter is still 30 odd degrees, you're going to have a lot of dust. Obviously that doesn't really apply to you. You're going to have to be using a fine foam and some thick oil all year round, in the winter and the summer. Depends on what country you're in, I suppose. I shouldn't really use the seasons to describe it, should I? Because I do know there are some Australians and Americans watching, and you have hot winters and even hotter summers, don't you? So there we go. Happy days, you lot. I think I've shown you all of these, haven't I? Spray stuff, yeah. You can use it all. It really don't matter what you use. Oil is oil. I mean, you can even use engine oil. 10W, 030, 040, 1040 if you want. It don't matter. As long as it's oil. As long as it oils up that filter. It don't matter what you use. It really don't. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you understand how that works a bit better. If you've got any information, anything to add, or you think I've got something wrong, put it in the comments and we can all learn as well, including myself. We can all read it and we can all talk to each other and we can all spread the knowledge together. If you want to see more videos like this with information on how to do things regarding Nitro RC, put in the comments, suggest what you want to see, and also think about sticking around. There's a button for that. You can just press that subscribe and you'll be able to see all the information, because that's what I normally specialise in, which is getting old RC Nitro cars running, and boats now. I've been doing a lot of boats recently, but also I like to try and spread the knowledge around so that a lot of people can get into it and understand them a lot better, because they're massively underrated, the old Nitro cars. I'll catch you lot later on. All the best. Cheerio. Love life. And Merry Christmas. We're nearly there now. Nearly at Christmas. Cheerio.